you know, was a short tow every week when we used to come out. When my dad raced here, you know, that was definitely some good times. And always think about if the track would be here yet, you know, if we would ever even made the jump to sprint cars, you know, probably would still be in modified, or I don't know. Reading did start running sprints there at the end, so I don't know where we would have ended up, but yeah, it was definitely the coolest track.
It was such a special place, and this guy's photograph, if you have not seen the program for the Reading Racing Reunion, you definitely want to go to center court and check it out and pick up a copy. Don in his Gremlin modified here at Reading on the cover. It's an awesome photo. And what stands out in your memory, those early days here at the fairgrounds? Is there a special night or a special race that really sticks out to you?
Probably not as much for myself, because, you know, I was only getting going then, and I did almost win a race there one time, a small block modified show, but probably the race I remember the most is when my father won a Syracuse qualifier there, and, you know, standing in the infield, we always used to stand in the first and second corner and watch that, and that was really cool watching him beat the big guys that night. So yeah, it's more of my memories as just being a kid, almost more than racing there. You know, you went there, and it was just always a great, you know, fan atmosphere. Had the best announcer, like Warren Ruffner, you know, always got the crowd into it. So it was just always something you look forward to. You know, it was a really good time.
Absolutely. Every Friday and Sunday night. We never got tired of it. Jeff, I'm going to let you ask Donnie about the sprint car career.
All right, thank you very much. You know, after you got done with the modifieds, I believe you first went to, I guess we better move away here. We went to the 360 racing, sort of getting your feet wet in sprint car racing. You did pretty good with that.
Yeah, it started out real well. Actually, former modified and sprint car driver, Dave Kelly, who used to run my father's modified cars, not his own cars, but our chassis when we built them. And he had run a sprint car a couple times and then got one, and he said, you need to try a sprint car. These things are, you know, these things are really neat. And, you know, it was at the time Reading was closing, and, you know, we always had to travel to run modified tracks, and the sprint cars were, you know, paying more, and he said they're easy to work on, they're fun to drive, you know. And he actually got us into getting a sprint car, and the first year, which was 1983, we still had it modified, and the neat thing is we ran URC, United Racing Club, because they would usually book their shows at modified tracks and run their program with the modifieds, you know. So a lot of the tracks we took two cars to. We had a modified and a sprint car, and we'd run the big block modified show, and then we'd run the URC portion of the show, the sprint car show. So it was good for me because most of the tracks we went to, I had raced at with a modified. So that kind of helped me out, and that first year was a great year. I think we won around 10 shows and ended up winning the championship. So it was a lot of fun and really paved our way into going into the sprint cars.
Absolutely. And then, of course, you got into the 410 racing, and I know you ran at a number of different tracks, but the one that you seemed to concentrate on the most was Williams Grove. You went from a track that was the hallowed ground of modified racing to a track that's the hallowed ground of sprint car racing, and you did extremely well there, winning track championships. That had to make you feel pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's definitely awesome, and we're kind of, everyone always tells me we're spoiled around here. You know, we had the Reading Fairgrounds, like you said, best of the modified tracks, and then we have Williams Grove, one of the best well-known sprint car tracks, you know, not only in this country, in the whole world. So, and, you know, we kind of don't realize it here, but we're just very, very fortunate, and all the racing. I mean, there's just so much racing goes on in our area, up and down the East Coast here, that, you know, our fans are kind of spoiled, and ourselves as drivers. We never have to drive very far to get to a race. They're usually the biggest and best paying weekly shows of any place in the whole country, and that's just because all the race fans that come out. People when I talk to people across the country, they can't realize that we're thinking about going racing already now in this part of the country. You know, usually last weekend Lincoln would have ran, and normally they'd get that show in. Obviously they didn't this year, but you know, we just have such great fans in this area that it lets us race so much. It's really cool.
Absolutely, and of course, in addition to winning track titles, you know, Williams Grove, you won some with Susquehanna. You've won some premier races too. You've beaten the World of Outlaws. You've won the Tuscarora 50. You've won some great races like that. What goes into preparation to when you know the big guns are coming, as well as the big guns we have here, to go out and try and win a race like that?
We usually try and just really go over our car as good as we can and kind of maybe save our stuff a little bit for the big races, because they are the big races. You know, they pay so well that we'll kind of use our stuff up on the weekly shows, and then try and save some stuff and just put it on for the big races, so that you know, we can put the best car out there then, and that's really worked well for us. We never have a big quantity of cars. We actually only have one car, so we never have like two cars where we can kind of save one and put it on. But you know, we try and save, you know, maybe stick a fresh rear in, or just save one for the big races, and you know, run on used tires in the regular shows, but then on the big races, you know, be able to stick all new tires on, and that system's, you know, kind of worked well for our budget. And we've just been, the other thing that's worked out really well for us, and this is all just by accident, is because when my father raced, he was always good on the dry slick tracks, and he passed a lot of that on to me. And then when I started racing, and it just so happened, most of the time, all those big races, that's how the track gets. If it would go the other way, we'd be in trouble, and sometimes it does, but just more times than not, in them big races, the track gets dry slick, and that just works right into our hand.
And of course, that's something that you like to race on, so that's good for you, and something that you're good to get the car set up for.
Yeah, it's kind of our whole program, racing program, is geared towards that, towards them dry slick tracks. Our engines don't make the most horsepower, but they drive really well on the dry slick tracks, and you know, we try and set up our cars towards them, you know, towards the last half of the race. That's when they pay, you know, that's when they pay the money, that's when the checkered flag is, so you don't have to go good the first half, you got to go good the last half. So we always just gear everything up towards that, and it's worked out pretty good.
Barry, I'm going to turn this back. You have a couple more.
Ladies and gentlemen, not only has Don beaten the World of Outlaws here as part of the Pennsylvania Posse on home turf, but there was a time, go back a little ways now, but there was a time he traveled out to Eldora. I know many of you familiar with that name. Tony Stewart's racetrack, Eldora, Ohio, the King's Royal. He is the only non-outlaw to win the King's Royal at Eldora Speedway. What a special night that was, huh?
Yeah, that was incredible, I'll tell you. Actually, I knew I won the race, but after I took the checkered flag, I was actually apprehensive and almost scared to come around, go to Victor Lane, and I'm just thinking, there's no way we won this race. You know, either someone else has to be out there, or, you know, maybe it's a dream or something, but, you know, it just, everything that night just worked out perfect. Again, we guessed the car just exactly right for the end of the race. The last 10 laps, they had watered the track, dug the track up. It was really wet in the beginning of the feature, and we had set up for the track to go dry at the end of the race. And the last 10 laps, you know, we were the fastest car on the track, and it really came on, and it just worked out right for us.
What an amazing night and a phenomenal career. And I'll bet you these days it's still pretty special, because now not only are you still competing successfully, but now you get to teach your daughter. And with that, I'd like to bring up Cassidy Kreitz to the stage and talk a little bit about tutoring Cassidy as she begins her career in the slingshots.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and actually, I'll be honest with you, when this started out probably 3 years ago, it has helped me a lot racing because it gets your mind thinking. You know, you go to the track, you're working on someone else's car, someone new, and they're different race cars what she runs than my car. But still, you can always apply it, and rather than sitting at home on a Saturday night, or even if I'm working in the shop on my car, now I'm out at the races. And anytime you go to the track, it's helpful. You're gonna learn something, you know, especially if you're working on someone's car. So it's actually really helped me the last few years, and it's neat working with her. I'm pretty tough, you know.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, I'm very tough on her, you know. But you know, that's kind of how it was for me, and you know, that's how you have to learn. And you know, I got to tell her when she makes mistakes, and I usually tell her, you know, not that, especially like if she needs to go to the outside, which she does a lot better than I do, you know, and I tell her that, you know, you might need to go to the top now. Not that I was any good at it, but that's where you need to be. So she's been very good at, because we haven't really raced her that much, and it's tough when you're starting out. You need to race a lot. You know, you need to get a lot of experience, and because I'm still running, she only gets to race every now and then, and that really hurts her running against the other times. And still me she does a lot of stuff on the car herself now, and I don't have the time that I should to really spend on her car to help make it a really upfront car and give her a better chance at it. So hopefully here in the next couple of years she keeps racing more, and she's been doing a good job for as little as she's gotten to race.
Cassidy, rate the coaching ability. How's Dad as a coach?
Well, it depends how the track is.
So the dry slick advice, that's on the money, huh?
Well, it's kind of the
Hi, Doug.
opposite.
How are you?
Because when the track's wet, for some reason, the slingshots are completely different. That's when it slows down for us. So we're always better then. We can't do anything on the slick.
Tells Daddy messed up.
So
Tells Daddy messed up.
you're listening though, right? It's not in one ear and out the other with his advice, right?
I have to listen. He'll ask me
Yeah, hope it
when I
goes.
come
I'm
in
not
why
good at this.
I didn't do what he said.
But I bet you always have an answer, right?
Absolutely.
Whether he wants to hear it or not, you've got an answer.
Yeah, sometimes before I go out, he says if the car's no good, he can throw the steering wheel at me. So there's always an answer for that.
So you have your helmet on when she comes in case that steering wheel comes flying?
It's been flying already. She gets upset, and I'm not very good. I'm not very good with those cars yet, you know, because we still just don't race them enough. And she definitely has her handful sometimes, and it is odd because she's right. Usually the car's right there, and she's very fast when the track's wet, and when it's dry, we haven't really had the thing hooked up right yet. So you know, hopefully we'll do a better job for her this year.
I'm quite sure that's coming. With the seat time, like you said, is so invaluable. Well, right now, I want to inform you of a very special honor. If you haven't heard, this year, later this summer, Don Kreitz Jr. is going to be inducted into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame out of Knoxville, Iowa. How about that? Sinking Spring, Pennsylvania, to the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. And partly in recognition of that, Don, we have a little something special here worked up for tonight. So at this time, I would like to introduce State Representative Mark Rossi from the 126th District. Mark, welcome, and we're going to let you take it from here.
All right, thank you. It's an honor to be here tonight. And I have two citations here, one from myself from the House of Representatives, and the other is from Senator Judy Schwank. She's wanted me to send you her regards. She could not be here tonight, but she wants to know how proud she is of all your accomplishments. and she has something really nice in here to say to you. So I'll pass that on to you right now. But I have a citation here from the House of Representatives that I would like to read to you. Whereas the House of Representatives of Pennsylvania takes great pleasure in recognizing the outstanding achievements realized by the citizens of this Commonwealth in a spirit of personal sacrifice and commitment to a goal. Whereas Donnie Kreitz Jr. is being honored upon his 2015 induction into the Reading Fairgrounds Jeffrey Hogue Realtor Action Track Hall of Fame. Whereas Mr. Kreitz began racing sportsman modifieds in 1978 as a high school junior and moved to sprint car race in 1983. That year he competed in several open sprint car events and ended the season as the URC champion and the Rookie of the Year. He competed for half a season with NASCAR's Grand National Division in 1987 and won sprint car races at more than 20 tracks in 8 states. Mr. Kreitz has amassed 199 wins, a huge accomplishment, and has won 8 track titles at Williams Grove, Selinsgrove, and Susquehanna Speedways. He has also won 9 times with the World of Outlaws in the A-Main competition, 3 preliminary night features, and 2 World of Outlaws 2 features. And he captured the Williams Grove National Open and the Kings Royal in Eldora, Ohio. Mr. Kreitz is to be commended for his continuing commitment to competitive excellence, and he has truly become an invaluable member of his community and this Commonwealth. Now, therefore, the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania pays tribute to Donnie Kreitz Jr. upon his well-deserved honor, acknowledges his investment of skill and effort in competing on a level which demands perfection. And I direct that a copy of this citation be given to Donnie Kreitz Jr. Congratulations, Donnie.
National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, and also the Jeffrey Hogue Realtor.com Action Track USA Reading Racing Reunion Hall of Fame. Again, congratulations, Don Kreitz Jr., everybody. Move on with the interviews now, and well, no, we won't. Photo op.
You know, Barry, that's quite an accomplishment. I mean, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, not just anybody goes into that, and Berks County can be very, very proud of having one of their own go into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame.
Yeah, when you think about it, you know, Don's joining Tommy Hintershitz, also from Berks County. We don't want to trip him on his way down. But guys like Tommy Hintershitz, you know, Jan Opperman, and the